Hi Wanderers, I'm Topher.
And I'm Chris. And today we're going to be telling you about our excursions on our Alaskan cruise on Norwegian Sun. But first, before we go any further, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you like what you see.
Tonight's featured cocktail, by the way, is the Sandia en Fuego, or watermelon on fire. Check out our video for the recipe. It's delicious. We found it on a Princess cruise to the Mexican Riviera, the only place that you can find it, and only at one bar after a certain period of time. So go check out the video and find out all the details.
Cheers.
So good. Takes me right back. I could just see us sitting right there, just having that drink, just waiting for it to show up. It's like, oh, so good. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyway, back to Alaska.
All right, so first part we're going to mention is Seattle. While we didn't actually have an excursion planned, we did go in a day early so that we were actually able to walk Seattle for a bit. We stayed at the...
For a bit. We walked for like 10 hours straight.
It's true.
It was a long day. It was fun, but it was long.
We stayed at the Mediterranean Inn on St. Anne Street, and it was only a few blocks away from the Space Needle. But if you want to hit the waterfront and Pikes Market, it's quite a walk. It's doable. It's a great walk.
A little bit of a distance. You know, if you wanted to basically stay down there and go up to see the Needle and then come back, then I would probably recommend something a little bit closer to the waterfront, as opposed to going all the way up by the Space Needle and then walking all the way down. Because by the time you get there, you're like, and now I start walking the stuff I actually wanted to see. So,
unless of course the Space Needle and everything around it is what you want to see, because then Mediterranean Inn it was perfect if you're not too worried about the waterfront or Pikes Market.
Very nice hotel, very quiet. There's quite a bit of food right in the immediate vicinity, so you don't have to worry about eating. Yeah, overall I enjoyed it.
Yep, it was very nice. Next up is Juneau. Juneau, our excursion got canceled because of the propulsion issue that we had mentioned on previous videos. So by the time we got into that port, all we could really do was walk around, and that's what we did. We walked around, checked out the shops that were there. Lots of great shopping.
Some really good deals, especially in that one shop. The one shop that's all the way at the very end.
Just before you reach the
you're walking into town, go all the way to the right, go all the way to the end. There's a great shop there that has some really great deals if you're looking for some souvenirs, especially with t-shirts and magnets and stuff like that.
That's where I got my sunglasses. Yeah, that's a great shop. And just to let you know, if you want to take the Mount Roberts Skytram, that's shop just right across the street from it. So yeah, it's a great shop to go see if you're gonna go right past it anyway if you hit that tram.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Then we also went to the Alaska Hotel or Alaska?
The Alaska Bar and Hotel. Yes.
Yeah, we had a cocktail there. It's the oldest bar. Running hotel and bar in Alaska?
I don't know if it was in Alaska. It might be in Juneau. It used to be a brothel. It's kind of cool. It's got this little stage. I mean, it's you can tell the way it's set up. You can tell it was set up with everybody congregating right down in the bar and entertainment area, and then you have the staircase that goes right up the wall and then down a hall around the corner, and then it kind of disappears, and it's like, yeah. When we found out it was previously a brothel, it was definitely designed for that.
You're like, yeah, this makes sense now. All right, so next up we went to Haines. And in Haines, we did the Glacier Point Wilderness Safari. That was a lot of fun. I really liked that one.
It was a lot of fun. So what?
All the excursions on this cruise, they were all awesome excursions.
They were all really good. So basically, what this entailed was we actually took a bus a short distance. Where we then got out of the bus and we got into our life jacket for our canoe. We got waterproof boots. Please don't complain if you purchase waterproof shoes for the trip. With Alaska, we do recommend that. When they tell you you're going to be taking those off to put on their boots, you'll appreciate it once you get to the water, because some of the water areas are deeper than your shoes.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Although it is a little cumbersome to hike to the canoe in those boots.
Yeah, because then you'll actually take a hike. Not a long hike, and it's definitely not strenuous. I would say it's an easy hike. The only thing that makes it a little more difficult is walking in those water boots if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
So, and then you get to your canoes, you hop into your canoes, and you start paddling up the river to get to the glacier, the Davidson Glacier.
Well, no, actually, first we stop onto a little beach, and then we hike a little bit more, and then we hop into the canoe because the guide.
The guy takes the canoe up the more rapidy part of the river so that you don't have to struggle trying to paddle. You'd be exhausted by the time you got done with that. So we actually got out, we hiked past it while he put in the engine and scooted up past it, and then we picked that up again there. And then basically he kept the engine going as we were crossing the lake to get to the Davidson Glacier.
Yeah. Yeah, that glacier is incredible. It was my first encounter with the glacier. I've never been impressed by glaciers before. I just thought they were just ugly chunks of ice. And as we were walking closer to it, I was blown away. It was incredible.
It's very incredible. The color of the glacier is just amazing. You can't imagine the blue.
Yeah.
It truly is blue. It's amazing thing. Cool thing, interesting thing that we learned about that one is when we were canoeing or going across the lake, as you're approaching the glaciers actually create a wind of their own. So it could be a really nice warm day, but boy, you get closer to that glacier and that wind picks up and it gets chilly.
Yeah, once the sun hits it, it starts to create a wind.
Yeah, I was very glad that we had our puffy jackets with us because we definitely needed them when we got to that point.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Puffy jackets, by the way, #1 item to pack for Alaska.
Yeah.
Even if you're going in the summer. Well, it'd be the only time you're going on a cruise to Alaska is in the summer. But definitely pack a puffy jacket. Probably the best item that we had. But yeah, the glacier, phenomenal. Our guide Cooper was wonderful. He had a lot of great information. Matter of fact,
it was very funny.
All of the guides that were there were just hysterical. They were just playing off of each other the entire time.
Doing rock jokes.
You can actually check out our video of this excursion. It was really, really a fun time. I would definitely recommend it. Not so great if you're not good walking on rocks, because the walk from the shore at the lake to get up to the glacier is pretty much all rocks.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty rocky.
If you're not comfortable with that, probably not the excursion for you. But if you don't mind, I definitely would recommend it.
Right. So then after we stayed at the glacier for a bit, got photos and everything, we get back in the canoe. They put on the engine again, and we go over the rapids that we weren't able to go through before, and then hike back to where the buses dropped us off at. And then they have lunch ready.
Yep. So
or they might do it another way. You might have lunch first before the excursion, because the groups did get split up.
Take the earlier one.
Yeah.
I recommend the lunch afterwards.
Yeah.
Take the earlier excursion. There's 2 different times, so take the earlier one if you're going on NCL.
Yeah. And it was really cool because after lunch, one of the guides showed us how to pick wild strawberries.
Yeah, showed us where the wild strawberries are. So we went out and picked wild strawberries and got to eat some wild strawberries in Alaska. It was so cool, and they are so good, by the way. They're a lot smaller. They're about the size of more of a raspberry, but so good.
Yeah, very cool. Good. And then after that, we got back on our boat and got back to Haines, and we still had some time before we got back on the ship. So then we walked into the downtown area.
Downtown area of about, again, 8 square blocks.
We saw the Hammer Museum. Didn't go in.
Yep, a very popular destination apparently.
Yeah.
And there's some bars. There's some other little shops. And
there was like a Viking themed cider and mead bar. And I think next time we get back that area, I think we're gonna stop and give that a try. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Haines, beautiful little town. Again, beautiful little town. I do recommend an excursion though. So
yeah, not a whole lot to do.
Yeah, and going to see the Davidson Glacier is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right. Then next up was actually the Hubbard Glacier. Yes, we put it in our port video, but just in case some of you all haven't seen that port video yet, we're including it here on an excursion too. Even though technically it wasn't a port. Wasn't an excursion.
Not an excursion, but hey.
But it's awesome.
Amazing. Get a balcony room. Go stand on your balcony while the ship turns. You can get you can take full video from one end of the glacier to the other. By the way, it's 7 miles wide, and it's 600 feet tall, with 350 feet being above the water line and 250 feet below it. Amazing. We actually saw some huge chunks of ice actually were, I think they call it calving.
Yeah.
Right off the side and into the water. And it's amazing how much water that ice displaces. Like, it was going across and then washing up on the shore over here. Oh, and it was like pounding. Like, it was pounding surf.
Yeah.
It was not just a little...
And the sound of the calving.
It sounds like thunder.
It sounds like thunder, or it sounds like if you have freight cars, freight train cars getting put together.
Yep.
It has that boom.
It's very loud.
Yeah.
And it's
really cool.
It's very cool. Yeah. Definitely recommend getting a balcony for that one, so you don't have to deal with everybody up on the upper decks.
Yeah. If you're on our Facebook, look for. We did go live when we were at the Hubbard Glacier,
so you'll be able to hear all of those sounds.
Yeah.
And
yeah. It's
see
still
that
up
glacier. There. It's phenomenal. It's also like 69 miles long. It's like one of the longest.
And it's the only glacier that is not receding. It is actually growing in size. All the other glaciers are starting to pull back. Not Hubbard Glacier.
Nope.
All right, next up we have Sitka. We did the Wilderness Sea Kayaking Adventure in Sitka.
Oh, so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun in Sitka. So you take a little
banana boat.
Banana boat.
It's not a banana boat.
It's not a banana boat that you ride. It's a banana boat that you sit in. It was yellow. So
a big yellow raft.
It's a big yellow Zodiac kind of thing. And you take that out to this little cove kind of area where there's this cute little shack and a cute little house off to the side that reminded me of the Friday the 13th movies at Camp Crystal Lake.
We're all doomed.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. You can check out that video as well so you can see it. You'll know exactly what we're talking about if you're a fan. But yeah, met there again by our guides and got all suited up, got into our kayaks, and just spent the time kayaking.
Yeah, our footage for that excursion isn't great because you put on a water skirt, and then when you get into your kayak, you seal that water skirt or splash guard so it's not splashing into your lap. Well, unfortunately, the GoPro and my phone were in pockets, and I wasn't about to pop that to try and get to them because I was afraid we were going to capsize if I tried. So sorry for that, guys. But yeah, such a great excursion, very relaxing.
Very relaxing. And you know, the thing I liked about it, because we've done other kayaking excursions before, and usually they're very concerned about where you are and what you're doing. These guys actually just kind of let you go. Like, as long as you were in the general area.
Yeah, if you showed that you knew what you were doing and had control.
They're like, just go have fun. It's all good. We don't care. We got this much time. They took us, basically, we went all the way around the little island that was there. Just amazing. Great time.
Yeah, and then when we got back, they had chowder. I don't know what kind of chowder.
It was a seafood chowder.
It was some type of seafood chowder, yeah.
And hot apple cider.
Ooh.
Yeah, very good.
Very good, yeah.
Very good. Nice little pick-me-up after all of that exercise. But you can take it at your own pace. There were some people that were just cruising, and then there were some people... We got geese flying over. There were some people that were, just kind of hanging right more around the area that we were in and taking it a little bit slower. We were kind of in the middle. We kind of, move for a while, and then we stop and we sit and just take it all in.
Yeah.
Because it's breathtaking. It's just just amazing.
Glassy. It was
just glassy.
Glassy,
yeah, it was beautiful weather, beautiful day. It was nice and sunny. Not overly hot, so you weren't dying out there.
Yeah, our guides were telling us that it was miserable the day before because it was rain
all day long. Like, they had 3 tours all day long. It just rained and poured on them.
So yeah, we got lucky.
And then also on the way back, on our boat ride on the way back, we actually saw a sea lion.
We actually saw sea lions on the way there too. I think that's the one.
The one on the way back, I think, was a little bit closer.
That's the one I got was on the way back.
It's a little bit easier to see. So
yeah,
fun.
Next up is Icy Strait Point. We did the unlimited sky glider mountaintop gondola, which is essentially, if you're going to do the zip lines or you want to head up to the highest point on Icy Strait Point, you're going to have to go that way anyway. So we just figured we might as well just get the unlimited one, even though we only used it once. But
it's unlimited, meaning you can go up and down all you want to. You could basically just sit there and ride it all day if you wanted to. Although I don't know if I would. It's a little high. It's a little intimidating.
Particularly when it stops.
Particularly when it stops and you're just sitting there swinging in the breeze. You're like, The gondola is not huge. It's not like some of the big mountaintop ski ones. It'll hold about 6 people, maybe 8 tops.
Yeah.
So they're not overly huge. Very nice though. Very smooth ride. I mean, it's, you know, it's beautiful. You get up to the top of the mountain. You've got some wonderful, spectacular views. So I definitely recommend going up there, checking it out. If you're ziplining, it will automatically, your package will automatically come with that, because that's the only way to get to the zip lines is the gondola. So there is no other option for you.
If you're interested in taking the Hidden Lake Trail, you have to get the pass to get up there, because the Hidden Lake Trail is up there.
It's a 1 mile loop that we walked. I would say it's a moderate trail, just because it's downhill one way, so coming back it's all uphill. So I would consider that probably a moderate trail. It's not overly strenuous, but there's some points where it's like, okay, I'm going to stop and take a break now. Yeah, hopefully there's no bears.
And it's nice too. There's certain areas that it's actually a wooden walkway, which is kind of cool.
That's good. Yeah, kind of when you get out more into the open area.
The marshy.
The marshy area. Yeah, they have a nice wooden platform just in case it's a little wet out there, so you don't have to worry about your shoes getting overly wet. But yeah, cute little lake down there. Yeah. And then there's some other trails on Icy Strait Point that you can take. One of them that we took was just about a 10 to 15 minute. That takes you from one area of the port where you get dropped off. It takes you more over to the shopping and the restaurants and stuff like that. It's only about a 10 to 15 minute hike, maybe 20 minutes or so. There is another little offshoot trail that goes from there, which was totally funny because from one side they closed it because of a bear sighting, and then from the side that we were on with the trail, you don't find out the trail's closed until you get all the way through the trail and find out it's closed due to bear sightings. You're like, okay, you need another sign, guys.
Right.
But pretty easy hike. I wouldn't.
So the people on Cunard were safe from NCL. However, we're bear snacks.
We were bear snacks. Yeah. No, didn't see any bears while we were there. So.
Nope. But we did on the next one. In Ketchikan, we did the black bear and wildlife exploration. That was pretty cool. We got to the location, and they take you to these wooden platforms, wooden walkways that are up high, and they have people watching for bears throughout the area, and they radio back responses.
So they let your guide know where the bear is if they see one, so that way they can get your group over there. We literally walked in the gate, and the guides were like, "There's a bear over here. Let's go." And we instantly got the one time that we saw the bear. We saw him. He went up and he was picking out some salmon. He went back into the forest. We followed him over on the walkway. He actually came out. I was literally within probably 1.5 to 2 feet from where he came out of this bush.
Because the platform was here, and the bear was like right.
His head was right there. It was crazy. It was very cool. I got a very nice up close experience with a bear. It's fun. And then after you get done with that, you kind of walk out onto another area, and they talk about the hatchery that's actually right across the river from where you are.
Which is part of the reason why the bears end up going to that area, because it's an all-natural type of hatchery. So the fish do come back up the river and try to jump into this pipe to go and lay eggs on the other side.
Yep. It's very cool. Very cool. We got a lot of information about the hatchery. Very cool information. I will say one thing. We were very lucky that we had really nice weather during Alaska, because once you leave kind of the bear area, which has got a little bit more shade, it's a little bit more covered with trees and stuff like that. When you're out by that hatchery, if it's pouring rain, you better hope you have an umbrella or a hood or something, because that could be very, very miserable. Well, so just FYI.
Yeah, luckily for me, I mean, I think actually I'm wearing what I was wearing when we went there.
I think so.
And I'm glad I trusted my instincts and dressed coolly, because even over at that non-shady area, it was starting to get hot.
It was actually quite warm. Yeah, Ketchikan, we actually had a great day in Ketchikan. The weather was beautiful. It was like 82 degrees at the highest point, which is quite warm for Alaska. You also figure in the humidity. Yeah, it's not tropical humidity, but you're surrounded by water, so there's humidity. If you're used to dry heat, that's not what it is. So 82 feels pretty warm.
Yeah. I was actually amazed how hot It felt hotter to me than it does when you're in the south and it's humid and hot. It felt much hotter to me.
Yep.
In
But then
Alaska.
after that, then we went back into town. We were able to spend some time.
Actually,
in
no.
town.
First, we went to the Raptor
I forgot
rehabilitation.
the Raptors. Oh my goodness, can't forget the Raptors. Jeez.
Yeah. So they had a bald eagle, they had a horned owl, and they had a red-tailed hawk, and all these are birds that they rescued and tried to rehabilitate. But unfortunately, due to their injuries, there was no way that they would survive out in the wild. So
Yeah.
they live there, and they're taken care of very well.
Very cool. It was very nice. I mean, you get to see. You're kind of on this little walkway again, and the birds are behind that. They're literally like 5 feet away from you. I mean, it's very cool.
Yeah.
To be able to see these animals up close and personal, really to be able to get a great look at.
Seriously,
Great
very
look
close.
at some of these wonderful, beautiful birds.
Yeah.
So,
And then they led us to the totem park.
oh, how did I forget about the totem park? Man, I'm just skipping right into town. aren't I?
Right? I'm like, dude, no. And we happened to see a guy. He was actually carving a totem pole. He was putting on the finishing touches of totem pole. The creation of Raven or something like that. I'm not quite sure exactly
that
what,
was it.
but it involved Raven.
It was
which it being one of my totems.
It was very cool for him to see.
Yeah.
And be there. Yeah, I believe he'd been working on it for 6 months?
That sounds right.
It's about 6 months that he'd been working on it, just finishing it, and then in about 2 weeks after we were there, they had the raising of the pole.
And you can actually find that on YouTube, and I think it was also on Facebook. I think his name was Mischievous Raven or something
Mischievous
like that.
Raven. Yep, I believe that is.
But if you
correct.
look up ketchikan pole raising, you probably will see.
It's probably the most recent one that they
Yeah.
had. So
Yeah.
yeah, very, very cool. There's a bunch of other totems that are there. You can go take your pictures with them. I got mine with the bear, of course. I'm wearing my little bear totem necklace that I picked up that was in Icy Strait Point.
Yep, that was at Icy Street Point. Yeah. And then we went into town.
And then we went into town. Completely just like rushing right through this, aren't I? So went into town. Fun town, great town, good food, good shopping, which we talked about in our port video.
Yeah.
So probably don't need to say too much more about that.
Right. And so then our next port was Victoria, and we went to Bouchard Gardens with our friend Danica, but to have high tea and see the gardens. But before we did that, we got off the ship and decided we were going to take a ped tour. And I was actually very excited because I've always wanted to do one of those type of tours.
So in case you don't know what a ped tour is, it's a guy who's on a bike and he's got the seat behind him. And then in our case, there was actually another cart behind that with an additional seat. So you can actually fit like 4 to 5 people on this one ped tour. So, sorry.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, and so then he took us around Victoria. We went to the Beacon Hill Park. Cool park. When we go back, I definitely want to check out that park more and potentially catch the running of the goats. For those of you who don't know, in Victoria, they got this little petting zoo there in Beacon Hill Park. And one of the things that people like to watch is they take the goats from the pen and run them through the petting zoo to get to the petting zoo area. So very similar to the bulls in Spain, yeah, but they're goats running, and people aren't running away from the goats. You're off to the side. But I think that'd be very cool to see.
Yep. Got a lot of history. We got a lot of history in like the oldest part of Victoria, with the houses, the different historical. What do they call those?
Heritage.
The heritage houses.
Yeah.
They all have a little oval plaque on their house. That means they're part of the heritage house. They've been there for a very, very, very long time, and still looking good. So,
Yep.
Did that, and then he dropped us off
Outside.
at the pier, or at the bay,
Yeah.
at the pier down in downtown Victoria, right across from the Empress Hotel. So we were able to go and walk through the Empress a little bit and see that. impressive, very impressive. A lot of history. We had a lot of history about the Empress, which is very, very cool. We got to see the Capitol building. We got to watch the tugboat ballet, which is really fun. And then from there, we hopped in our taxi and went to Butchart Gardens.
Yeah, beautiful gardens. I mean, I was blown away how big these gardens are. I was amazed. I wasn't expecting it to be that vast.
Yeah, it's crazy. You walk into when you walk in, yeah, there's all of these beautiful flowers, and then you see the sign that says Sunken Valley this way. And luckily we were with our friend Annika, who had been there before, so she's like, we're going here first. And you actually literally walk out to this edge, and then there's steps that go down, but you're overlooking this valley, and it's a valley, and it's just covered in different flowers and different trees and different, like, it's crazy. It actually, Butchart Gardens was actually a strip mine location, and the gentleman that was that owned the strip mining company, his wife got tired of looking at it because they actually built their house right over there. She got tired of looking at this big empty hole, so she just went and started planting flowers, and people started sending her seeds and plants from all over the world, and for whatever reason in this valley she can grow them. So it's just amazing. Check out our video of that, check out our photos of that, because it's words don't do it justice. You have to see it to believe it. It's truly, truly amazing.
Yeah, so after we walked through the garden, we still had a little bit of time before we had high tea there at the Butchart Gardens, and Topher was looking for a smoke area.
Oh, we are not going to go there, are we?
Yes.
Okay, so then I get to tell the story. All right, so if you are a smoker and you go to Butchart Gardens, just so you know, there is no smoking anywhere on the property, and there is no accessibility to walk off of the property. So if you do not have a car, you are not leaving the gardens. You are not smoking, FYI.
Yes.
So that's what I spent my time doing while Danica and Chris just kind of hung out for a while, and then we actually went to high tea.
Yep. And that was a very nice experience. I really enjoyed it, and it's a fraction of the cost of what you would get high tea at the Empress Hotel, and it's a beautiful surroundings. It's beautiful. And a lot of good food.
Very good food. A lot of food. You'd think it would be just these little sandwiches, like they're not going to fill you up. No, like every single person
it's a three-tiered.
Every single person gets like one of everything. So it's like, it's a lot of food.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get to choose your tea, and they bring your teapot out, and you can just strain your tea, and it's really kind of a cool experience.
Yeah.
If you haven't done it, do it once. If you don't enjoy it, you won't have to do it again, but at least you could say, hey, I had high tea at, whether you do the Empress or whether you do Butchart. I would probably do Butchart. It's about $40 cheaper per person than the Empress, because the Empress is kind of the place to do high tea in Victoria. But yeah, save yourself some money. Go out to Butchart, see some beautiful surroundings, and have some tea.
I think there's another place you can do high tea, because that's where Sherry at Cruise Tips TV and her family do it, but I can't remember what it is. Like that little shout out, Sherry?
Hi, guys.
And so then after that, we returned back to the ship, and that was the end of our excursions.
That was the end of our excursions. Back to Seattle once again, where we did absolutely nothing except get to the airport to get on a flight home.
Yeah.
But really, all in all, I think Alaska has some of the most memorable excursions that you'll ever be on. Majority of it is just because of the scenery that's there. Yeah, you can't find it anywhere else. It's truly, truly amazing. Whatever you decide to do, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna see some cool stuff. So pick the one that you think you're gonna like the best and just go for it. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All right, if you guys liked this video, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you again later. Have a good one. Joyful wandering.
Joyful wandering. Bye, wanderers.